And welcome once again to Convincing Idiots. This week, myself, Millennial Nick, along with my friend and bro host Gen X Brian, will be discussing, as always, idiot reviews. We are talking about some pop culture headlines, including social media trends, and check it out, Netflix is trying something a little different, so you're going to want to hear all about it. Also, our idiot inquiry of the week this week is luxury bunkers and survivalists. Are they crazy? Are they practical? We'll talk about it and find out. And then finally, for our main topic, stick around. We're talking about sequels, the good ones, the bad ones, and everything in between. So, without further ado, we know you can't wait. Neither can we. So, let's start the show.
All right. Test.
Call it again. Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today,
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots, doing the intro of absent Zenial Dean.
Brian Gen X.
Anytime you want there. I know.
Sorry about that. Brian
kinda,
Gen X.
We're kind of
Yes.
off our flow here right now. And
Yes,
I am your resident millennial. My name is Nick. And if you have not joined us before, well, hey there. Welcome. Obviously, this is, for those of you that have joined us, this is the moment that you wait for all week long. We're finally here. Here it is. So for those newcomers, though, we are a weekly podcast of typically three friends, but today, two friends that we get together weekly. We discuss nerd and pop culture and all things that we find enjoyable. So we are glad that you have joined us as well. If you have not done so already, please be sure to go and find us on all your favorite social media platforms, all the ones that are owned by Elon Musk and the ones that are not. We are available on. You can find links to all of those on our Convincing Idiots link tree. Just Google Convincing Idiots link tree, LINKTREE, and there you will find all of the all the websites, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. Our email address is on there. You can also find that information if you prefer, if you're a little more old-fashioned and you just like to navigate the World Wide Web at your leisure. We have a website for that as well. Just go to www.convincingidiots.wordpress.com, and there you can also find links to all of our social media accounts as well as your favorite podcast platforms in which we are available to be heard. There's also a donate button if you feel so inclined. We have merchandise now. Feel free to go over to the merch store. The holidays are coming up. What better to wrap under the tree than someone's very own Convincing Idiots t-shirt, such as the lovely Brian Fisher is showing you right now if you're on YouTube. There's all kinds of cool stuff up on there, so be sure to check that out. And we're also available on Boss Code Media. Our friends over at Boss Code Media have been kind enough to put ourselves as well as our friends over at It Came From Gen X up on their platform. So you can go there. Be sure to look them up in your app store or on your smart television. Boss Code Media, Boss Code TV. Check it out. So, now that we've got all the good stuff out of the way, everybody knows where to find us. Some of the regulars might be wondering, why we're a two-man show this week. probably some might, I don't know, I've heard some might even be pleasantly surprised that we're a two-man show this week. But we are missing our friend Dean. Dean would not have a problem with us saying why he's not here this evening. So Dean, last minute, had a bit of an issue. He, it happens to the best of us. Without beating around the bush or mincing words here, he pooped his pants.
Mhm.
He pooped his pants. It became quite messy, quite rapidly. So we wish him the best. We hope to see him check in at some point this evening after that gets cleaned up. Like I said, happens to the best of us. We've all been there at some point or another. Probably not at 41 years old, but that's neither here nor there. So we wish Dean a speedy recovery in the pant region. So enough about poopy pants, Dean. Clean drawers, Brian. How are you, my friend?
Doing very well, thank you, sir. I'll mention the shirt, by the way. So yeah, I got this from our merch site, as you mentioned. Very good quality. I'm very happy with the quality of the shirt, by the way. So it's a nice, soft shirt.
Looks nice. It complements your muscles and pectorals.
Of course,
just
of course.
Lovely. Yep,
that's right. So yeah, so the shirts that do come with Gen X Brian pectoral ready prints.
Yeah,
as well. Absolutely.
Biceps bulging, pecs are popping. It's all happening.
Right. That's right. No, but it's a nice quality shirt. The print's very good. It's not one of those like cheap transfers or anything like that. So definitely high quality. And we get these through. We'll give them a shout out here. Teespring. I think it's just called Spring now. Spring.com. So you go on there. It's a free service. You can set up your own design, whatever you want to do. Photo or your own design, and they set up a store for you for free. And then you just set it up and they do it. They handle all the shipping for you. It's really a great service. And Nick, you use them as for your hockey league as well, you've mentioned.
That's correct. Yeah. My team, the Polar Bears, we have our, one of my teammates was kind enough to set us up with graphics and things like that, customize some merch. So I'm very happy with everything I've got from them so far. So very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, shipped quickly, packed well. So yeah, just definitely an excellent service out there if you're looking for that type of thing here.
They do all kinds of like not like you said, it's not just shirts and apparel like hoodies. I think they do like mugs and stuff, and there's all different kinds of stuff.
Aprons.
They might be able to produce some fishnet stockings or fisher nets. I mean, we might be able to get that in the works.
We're working on that. We are working on that. I may literally put a picture of a Gen X, young Gen X Brian picture up there with the whole flowing mullet and the whole bit on his shirt. I'm debating on that. So, yeah.
I would like it to be the picture that I have on my phone for when you call or text me. I don't know if you know which one it is.
I don't know what that is. I don't know which one it is.
But I don't know if you recall. I thought maybe, but when you said it to
shared
me,
it.
I immediately said this has instantly become the picture in my phone for when you call or text me. It is a picture of a young Brian Fisher. Are you ringing any bells here? Do you know which one it is?
Is it the wood paneling?
There is wood paneling.
That's that
but
one.
There's something you're doing.
Oh. Nope, I don't remember then.
So you do. There is a flowing young Brian Fisher mullet happening. There is wood paneling in the background. There is also proudly displayed. It is of young Brian Fisher showing off his nunchuck skills.
Gosh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I would love a shirt of that more than Oh God, that's all I want for Christmas now. That's all I can think about. Yeah,
we could do that. We could put young pictures of all three of us up there, young embarrassing photos on a shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah. Keep watching the merch store. If you follow us out there, we'll post stuff on our page and social media and stuff like that. So
100%. Yes,
sure, absolutely. It's for the holiday rush. If you get something like that going. Yeah. So going back to answer your question, I'm doing well, thank you. It was a nice weekend last Friday. Allie, my lovely girlfriend, came over with her lovely daughter Marlo. Had a nice evening, hung out. Some nice local Parisons pizza. Watched a movie. We watched a Weird Al movie. Did we talk about that last week? I think we did.
We talked about it coming out. You hadn't seen it last week.
Okay, so we'll talk about that.
So I don't think it was out yet, but we ourselves and Dean, we texted that you'd said that you'd seen it. So I'm looking forward to hearing your review.
Very good. So we'll talk about that, and then Saturday went over to a buddy Cooper and his lovely wife Amy's place. He did this whole renovation of his garage. He's very talented in many ways in carpentry, etc. But he remodeled his garage. He built a tiki bar in his garage. It was just like a regular garage. Remodeled it, drywall, electricity, hung a TV in there, lights, built a bar, the whole bit.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Did that. It's harder, I will say, to bounce back when you're over 50 if you're out till 2 in the morning plus drinking.
Woo.
It's you got to be. You can't leap out of bed like you used to back in the
Dude,
day.
I'm 34 and I don't drink till 2 in the morning anymore.
It's a rarity. He and I did that for many years. He's my oldest friend, literally since grade school. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Just nice weather around here this week, as you know. So got out doing some of that. So here we are. Looking forward to tomorrow. Dinner with my lovely daughter Peyton and her very nice boyfriend Joey. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. So looking forward to that. So how are you, sir?
Nice. I am well. I'm doing good as well.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned last week, my memory doesn't go back much further than the weekend, and I go from there. So, this weekend was a nice week with not nothing too crazy. We went out to my oldest son, Lane, had a friend that celebrated a birthday, so we went out to a birthday party in Cuyahoga Falls. If you're familiar with the northeastern Ohio area in Cuyahoga Falls, Front Street was recently opened up. It used to be just you could just walk around for Rock on the River. They'd have outdoor concerts, some little shops. Well, now they've opened that up, and there's all kinds of cool businesses down there and things like that. Well, there's a place down there. I'm not sure. The building seems to be historical. I don't know if it was used to be
theater?
like I think it was a movie theater. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
I was going to say,
yes,
it looks
yes.
like maybe it was a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some old movie theater type chairs that fold down in the lobby there that you can sit in. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But it's called The Works with a Z because it's extreme and it's cool. But nice place. The first time I'd ever been there, my buddy, a buddy of mine that I play hockey with, my buddy Moose, has a band called Secondhand Radio. So again, if you're in the area ever, check them out. They're fantastic. They do a lot of great covers of a wide variety of music. But his band has played there before, and they got a nice big stage with a brick wall backdrop and nice big hardwood floor area with dining tables and dance floor area, things like that. All kinds of arcade games for the kids to play. Skee ball, the basketball shooting. And then they've got this. What do they call it? Duck pin bowling, it's like a miniature bowling situation. There's like 5 or 6 lanes in there. So really nice place. Really impressed. The food was good. It was a good time. It's not too busy, crazy in there with a lot of, too much going on, but a nice place. It's actually where my company's having their Christmas party this year. So
nice.
Never having been there before, it was kind of a nice little, I had to come back to work and give everybody the scouting report and let them know how it was. But it was a really nice time, nice place. And, we spent the day kicking around the falls and doing different stuff. And so it was nice. I mean, just cleaning around the house, like you said, beautiful weather, nice to get out and do some things outside and move around a little bit here before we're all confined to our homes for the majority of the winter time. But yeah, it was nice little weekend.
Yeah, very good. I popped in there one night. I was pleasantly surprised. The Works. Yeah. Saw some live band, and like you say, it's a great venue for live music, the whole bit. So a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, very good. So have you watched anything interesting or heard anything idiot reviews, sir? Go ahead.
I have. Idiot reviews. So here we go. Idiot reviews. So trying again to catch up on my usual shows and things like that. I did pick up a new show just basically for the sake of this podcast because I saw that it was a new show. It looked interesting to me, and it featured Randall Park. Okay, so who is
on
he's in WandaVision and in the Marvel series Agent. Yes, he's in Young Rock. Yeah, correct. He was the dad, I believe, on that show Fresh Off the Boat. If anybody ever watched that, that was a funny show.
Yeah, funny guy.
But yeah, anyway, so he is in a new Netflix series called Blockbuster, and it's about basically it revolves around him who is the manager of the last remaining Blockbuster. That, you know, it's not exactly true to form, because if anybody watched the last Blockbuster documentary, you know that was in Bend, Oregon, I believe, and it was the last one on Earth. It was the last remaining independently owned as it was, but the last Blockbuster, you know, video rental store out there. So this kind of follows that storyline, except, you know, they're in Michigan or something, and they're, you know, it's not exactly true to form, but it takes place in present day. So it basically, if anyone is from, I've watched about 4 episodes. It is funny. It's a fun show. It's pretty good. I would liken it to, there's a show called Superstore.
Yes.
And it basically, same deal, revolves around a bunch of employees that are all friends that work at like something like a Walmart.
Mhm.
So this is that, essentially, from what I've got. It is that. It revolves around this small crew of people that are still working at this last Blockbuster, and just kind of their experiences in life and things like that as they're working at the store, and also, you know, as he's trying to make this last store survive, you know, and it's with that whole spirit of all the things that we become reminiscent about Blockbuster with, that it's a place to gather and meet people and talk about interests and find new things and, you know, all these things. So that's essentially what it's about, and that's his whole motivation to strive to keep this Blockbuster standing, because corporate's pulled out. He's on his own, and everything's on him to manage the store. And, you know, the people that work under him and the people that he's looking out for. So, you know, like I said, good fun watch. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing that you got to drop what you're doing and go watch it. It's that hilarious or it's that inventive or great. You know, it's fine. It's a good sitcom. And it's, you know, it's definitely funny. So I've enjoyed what I've seen of it so far. So along with that, I believe I'd mentioned before that I recently subscribed to Peacock, which is the NBC streaming service, because I had to, because that's where SNL is now. So
Steve
I
wouldn't
was
give you his fucking login. So
right. Yeah. Too busy over there shitting his pants. He can't even give me a password and a username.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I started going back and just watching old Saturday Night Lives because, like I said, big fan of it. And I was listening to the Smartless podcast this week, whose guest was Wayne Gretzky. And so Wayne Gretzky was on, and at one point he's talking about when he hosted Saturday Night Live. Actually, he didn't agree to host. His wife Janet agreed to Lorne Michaels that he would host, and she goes, "You'll thank me later. You're just, you know, you're going to do it." And this was back in, I think, '89. So he had pretty recently been traded to the Los Angeles Kings. You know, it was a big explosion for hockey and in the States, really in general, but certainly in California and, you know, all that stuff. So I say all that to say that, you know, I remember seeing sketch. I shouldn't say I remember watching. At '89, I was 1 year old, but I remember a lot of the cast members at that time. You know, Phil Hartman and Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, and there's all these great people. Solid. You know, but as I'm going back, I'm watching some of these older episodes, and I'm seeing sketches that aren't the ones that you see replayed all the time, and aren't the ones that, you know, are the characters that, you know, that are staples in SNL history and things like that. So there's this one sketch where Wayne Gretzky comes into the locker room, and most of these sketches, I mean, Wayne Gretzky's not an actor, so he plays Wayne Gretzky in basically every sketch, and he even says that in the podcast I was listening to. He was like, you know, the cast really carried me. I'm not an actor. I wasn't, you know, prepared for that or anything, but the cast was really good. So there's the sketch where Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings come off the ice. They've just lost a game, and, you know, he's new to town. He's in LA, right? So he's in the dressing room, and the manager of the team goes, you know, yeah, tough one out there, Wayne, you know, but hey, I was wondering, I got a couple of friends that would like to stop in and talk to you. I hope that's okay. And, you know, whatever, it'd just be a couple minutes. He goes, I don't know, I'm really tired. It'd just be a few minutes, just 2 minutes. He goes, okay. So in rolls John Lovitz as Sylvester Stallone and Dana Carvey as John Travolta. And this sketch is just hilarious because it's what they're doing is they're basically talking. Their impressions, first of all, of these characters are spot on, of these actors, and they're talking to Wayne Gretzky and trying to explain to Wayne how he could do better next time, and they thought, well, maybe if you shot that little thing across this line a few more times, you'd score more goals, and John Lovitz is doing his Sylvester Stallone. I was talking up there with John, and we were thinking, you pass it over this line, you score some goals, and he's just shaking his head. He's like, yeah, it's a really good idea. Dana Carvey as John Travolta, if you've never experienced it or you've never, so goddamn, I was in tears, just dying. Like, it's just, I was thinking, you could get like a bullet or something and put like a little guy back there, and then like they could just shoot a shoe, it'd be crazy, and they could just never score any goals and shoot. It's so funny. Like, and not only that one, but most of the sketches that I've watched, I was watching some other past episodes, and it's like Dana Carvey was somebody that when I thought back to SNL, I thought mainly of Garth Algar because I was a big Wayne's World fan, and then like Church Lady and his imitation of George Bush and things like that, which again is hilarious. Doesn't even matter that the material is like outdated or you have no idea what stuff. It's just so good. And I was like, man, Dana Carvey was like the best part of like every sketch he was in. Like he was great. So good. Like, and I really enjoy that now. I'm like getting addicted to like watching these older episodes that like, yeah, I know these people, but I wasn't alive or I wasn't old enough to watch the show and understand why this is funny or think it's funny. So, but yeah, man, just little, I guess I'll work that into giving Dana Carvey his flowers. Cause like, he's so good. Phil Hartman as well. Phil Hartman.
Oh man.
The point of giving someone their flowers is while they're here. So we can't do that with Phil Hartman, but I obviously love Phil Hartman. I love his cinematic work. On the silver screen and such works like, Jingle All the Way. Incredible. Yeah, he was another one, man. Phil Hartman was just aces in like everything. So, but yeah, watching some old SNLs, but that's definitely a lot of fun. I'm definitely appreciating some of those guys in a different light. And you know what I mean? I like seeing some of those ones that were, like I said, not the characters or the staples that you're familiar with, but just seeing kind of their overall body of work, just really, really fun. So
that 80s cast for me, I mean, as a young kid, I remember just barely seeing any of the original cast as a young kid, a little bit here and there. They started in 75. It was recently, they had the anniversary. It was like June of 75, July, something like that. No, excuse me. That was, it was this month, October or September, October of 75. Anyways, then the late 80s is kind of not the best cast. This wasn't really working, and they really kind of recycled virtually everybody. And that 80s cast was just so solid. That's after Eddie Murphy left the show and Joe Piscopo and those guys, and they brought in all these folks. And yeah, that was just something that many, many years, in my opinion. So me as a teenager, just as you look forward to watching that show, they really carried that show for it was a decade, whatever the heck it was, So
yeah.
But yeah, so great stuff. I agree.
Yeah, very good. The only thing that I will say, the weekend updates don't quite. I mean, I'm sure if you watched them and you understood, you would understand the subject matter a little better. But I'm like, when I'm watching these ones from like 89 and 90 and 91, I'm like, like I remember hearing some things, but I was born in 88, so it's like a lot of the weekend updates are like, I could probably just skip this stuff. I don't really, I don't get it, but yeah, but still, it's a lot of fun. I'm like, I think I'm gonna make it a point to like start at episode 1 and watch. I could probably watch up to like 97 and then I'd be good because I don't think I've missed one since around then. But yeah, watching some of those older ones, been a lot of fun.
Yeah, very good. Good stuff. Anything else, sir?
I don't think. Oh, yes, there is. We also watched. That's what we did on Friday night. We had a movie night and we watched the DC League of Super Pets, which is the animated film where The Rock is, one of the dogs. I was astounded. Like, there are like everybody in that movie, doesn't even matter like how small of a role. Everybody is somebody like big. Like there's Kevin Hart was in there, and there's a lot of SNL people, Kate McKinnon and Vanessa Bayer and all that. I mean, great cast, great vocal cast. I mean, across the board. But it was a very enjoyable movie. It was, it was a cute. I would say it's a lot better. It was definitely better than like the Justice League with real people. Like it was, it was a lot better than the DC blockbusters they put out. But yeah, enjoyable, animated movie. it revolves around Superman's dog, Crypto, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of great tie-ins for A, adult humor, B, fans of DC Comics and the heroes, and there's probably a lot of references that I didn't even pick up on, as far as how deep they probably reached into like DC stuff. But then basically he's comes along this stray and this group of strays, and so on and so forth. One of the strays, there's a experiment gone awry, and there's an evil villain, and all these pets have to band together and stuff like that. But a lot of fun humor, a lot of fun dog humor and things like that. But yeah, it was good movie. Very much enjoyed it. So if you got kids,
Mhm.
definitely a good watch. You'll enjoy it as an adult. And honestly, even if you just really like DC Comics and you don't have kids, you probably still really like it. It's a good movie.
Is it HBO Max now?
HBO Max, yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very good. All right. Well, I already kind of mentioned I watched the Weird Al movie on the Roku channel, so you can pull,
Yes.
as long as you pull it up. You don't have to have a Roku TV necessarily, as long as you can access the app.
Mhm.
It's free. It's just free. It's just streaming free on Roku. So, if you are even a remote Weird Al fan, you will enjoy this. He just basically, it's a completely, as you can probably gather from the previews, it's a completely over the top, very loosely based biopic. So,
which I will just say, what else would you
Yeah.
expect? Like,
Of course.
it's, you know what I mean? How seriously can you take? It's fucking Weird Al. You know what I mean? Like,
just so good. And Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al does a great job. Plays a very good straight man. Weird Al himself makes he's a minor role in this as a record producer. A lot of people come, they dress up as make cameos as various 80s characters. Like one guy's Gallagher. Jack Black shows up as Wolfman Jack. As older Wolfman Jack. It's just a lot of fun. I laughed at that movie more than any current movie than in a little while. So just a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. Watch it.
Was it nostalgia based, or was it because it was well written, or both? Maybe.
It's a little bit of nostalgia, I guess. Like there's scenes like Daniel Radcliffe. He is performing as in the Eat It video, like the first big video Weird Al did. There's a little clip here.
Yeah.
So, but Daniel Radcliffe, dressed the part, and he's frame for frame is acting as Weird Al, who of course was acting as Michael Jackson in that video. Is Beat It. It's just a lot of fun. So a little bit of nostalgia. It was just a funny, kind of a smart comedy. I love the fact that he said, he's not telling. We've talked about this even in the past. He has a very interesting life story anyway. If you give a straight story of him, it's actually a very good, interesting, and somewhat tragic story with him losing his parents and this and that. But he just no. I'm not telling it that way at all. I'm telling it the Weird Al way. Just a lot of fun. And he's super famous, and Daniel Radcliffe is cut and ripped and everything in this. The narration is some guy that's clearly not Weird Al narrating with some big booming masculine voice. When I was a boy, it's so great, just so good. I won't spoil anything, but just watch it through the credits to get little clips through the credits. And it's a new original song Weird Al did, so just a lot of fun. So definitely highly recommend it. We talked about this last week, a new form of meditation. There's a documentary about that, orgasm meditation, orgasmic meditation.
Okay.
There's a documentary on Netflix, Orgasm Incorporated, which we joked was a new sponsor of ours. Watch that this week. It's like an hour and a half.
Have we heard from them yet? Are we?
Orgasm Incorporated?
We've reached out to their people, but have we heard back from them yet, or being a sponsor?
Well, they've reached out to us, if that makes sense. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. Actually, they told us to continue to reach for ourselves. Don't call this office any further. So, Anyway, so it's a very interesting documentary. It's wild. It is wild. It's some lady and a partner started this. I mean, it's really, the idea is crazy genius in many respects. We're going to start a whole new form of meditation. And the idea is that women are going to get up and disrobe, and guys are going to basically give them an orgasm with their hand. There's no like sex or anything like that
Okay.
and the idea is that both people are participating. It's a release, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, they're getting into big classes, people living in a compound, practicing this thing. You now have classes. You have, you can get a mastery teaching of this thing.
Wow. What a career, eh?
Oh, my God. For thousands of dollars. And it's mainly guys spending money to do this, right?
Yeah.
But then it gets kind of dark a little bit too. So I said, it literally becomes cult-like. And then some women it's not real pleasant what happened to some of these women that worked there and were a part of this. But give these people credit. A lot of people came up there and they interviewed for this documentary that were a part of this. They worked there, men and women.
So was this? Let me without giving, because this is very interesting, and I probably will watch it myself. But is this? You mentioned off the top, it was for the women would disrobe, and the men would get the girls off, right?
Yep.
Is this a mutual thing, or is this about the female experience?
It's more about the female experience.
Okay.
Because it's different. Because see, they talk about this. So if you reverse it. It's like we don't want women to be like the role of the sexual servant and all that type, because that's degrading. Right. You pay women for that. Da 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 da. So by the men doing this, it's kind of giving some, showing equality and empowerment and this and that and the other.
Okay.
Of course, the guy gets has satisfaction in
providing that. Yeah.
Providing that, sure. So it's a whole thing. So
interesting.
It evolves into a church. They have you could become literally like an orgasm priest or something like that. It's like really wild. Okay. So yeah, I guess an hour and a half, I was just sucked into it. Like, wow, this is like, it's astounding.
Wow.
Yeah. It just, you have a good idea, and it just shows if you sell it well and you have the right people around you, how people could just gravitate toward you. And then next thing you know, they're buying, $15,000 lessons or $50,000 a year just to be a part of this. You have a good idea.
You can sell it, and you're making people come. Like, what's of it? It sells itself.
And we have, at least 2 of the 3 of those on this podcast. Well,
and once we get those T-shirts of you with the nunchucks, we're going to have all 3.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100% without question. Yeah. Yeah, so check out Orgasm.
I'm halfway there right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I would expect nothing less. Yeah. Maybe that's how Dean had his accident. Perhaps he was practicing a little bit too much orgasm
stuff
meditation.
Came out of the wrong place and his wires got crossed, and there you go.
Yeah, could be. Very well could be. Yeah, so check that out. And then I was looking for a creepy movie. Had seen it, and I've never seen it. I watched the original Salem's Lot, which I think was a TV movie. I think it was cut that way back in 1979 with David Soul. David Soul was Starsky on Starsky and Hutch way back in the day. So it's a definitely 70s TV movie without question, but it was creepy. It was decent. And then I got a kick on. I'm like, I've never seen the sequel, A Return to Salem's Lot. So I watched that from 1987, and my experience watching that one stemmed the idea for this particular episode in best and worst sequels. So that'll be our main segment tonight. We'll talk about that. And I almost forgot, I did rent on Amazon Prime for like just a couple bucks now. Bullet Train, which came out earlier in the year.
Pitt?
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. Check it out.
I heard that it looked kind of interesting. I can't remember what it was that we went to see. I think it was when we went to see Nope in theaters or whatever, and they were running.
It makes sense.
They were really pushing that hard. I think it came out around that time, and it looked kind of interesting. It looked pretty action packed and pretty suspenseful.
Action packed, dark comedy. Brad Pitt's very good. Of course, a lot of people are very good in this. It's basically assassins are come together on a bullet train, and so they were kind of all put there for various reasons, but yeah, definitely worth checking out. You get just a few bucks on Amazon Prime. Once you get into it, it's action packed start to finish. Because it's shot well, acted well, action packed. So definitely go check out Bullet Train. That's what I got, sir.
Nice. All right. Yeah, Bullet Train.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we're going to take a moment and just a very brief practice of a little bit of orgasm meditation.
I think it's time. I think we could use a release. I think everybody could use a release. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're at home listening, feel free to maybe listen to this. If you're at your podcast, you can listen to this particular ad read, and it's a very good segue into a very brief session of orgasm meditation, I believe. If I may. Mm-hmm.
I would sign off on that take, absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll be back after this break, and then we're going to get into, Nick, pop culture headlines and also our idiot inquiry of the week. Bunker people. So luxury bunkers, people building bunkers to protect themselves from a potential apocalypse. So, seeing more in the news about these lately, and it's just really a fascinating subject. Are these people smarter than we are, kookier than we are, or maybe a little bit of both? So, we'll discuss that right after the break.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. I feel very relaxed, like after that break. I don't know about you.
I do too.
Endorphins and different things flowing.
You've heard soothing sounds. Mm-hmm. You're able to communicate thoughts freely and fully without interruption. So it's everything's going good. That's right.
A little bit of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very good.
Some little jizz blasting in between the. Are we allowed to say jizz blasting? Okay, release. We'll say release.
That's a term. Absolutely. I don't know if our sponsor Orgasm Incorporated would like that so much. I'm not sure. I'm just running with that. It's just funny. I don't know. It's funny to me.
Jizz blasting.
Yeah. There's the podcast title right there.
Jizz blasting.
Wouldn't Dean be mad if he saw that that's the name of this particular episode that he was not on? Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things you can't say, but yet when he and I are alone, we can call an episode Jizz blasting.
That's right. All right. How about some pop culture headlines? We caught a few things that piqued our interest. Go ahead.
Sorry, this just in.
Update. Mm-hmm.
We have a Dean update.
Mm-hmm.
We were expecting Dean to come back after the break. Speaking of Dean, I guess, matters have escalated. So apparently, during the cleanup process, there were some spots that were missed, and now it's a fecal catastrophe, is what I'm hearing. So he probably won't be making it for this segment either. So again, we wish him well. Thoughts and prayers go to Dean with his situation and all the pants shitting, and we hope he's back on his feet and gets that cleaned up in a good fashion. So, all right, back to you, Brian. I'm sorry.
Also, another good potential podcast title right there: the fecal catastrophe.
Fecal catastrophe.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. No. So, did you catch any headlines in the world of pop culture, sir, that caught your eye? You want to mention?
Did actually, and this is a more somber one. So here I get to play Gen X Brian here, because typically it's people of your era who are leaving us passing on, but in this instance it is someone from my generation, sadly, who has gone obviously far too soon. But Aaron Carter passed away. I believe I heard of it on Saturday. I'm not sure if that's exactly when it happened or not, but I believe we were the same age. I think he was 30. Saturday. Okay.
34.
So he was 34 years old, same age. So for those that aren't familiar, I'm not going to sit here and say I was like this massive Aaron Carter fan. Exactly. You know, I was not really at that age. I was listening to the type of music that Brian and my father grew up with, so that was kind of my jam at the time. But Aaron Carter was a pop singer, had a couple hits and things like that. His older brother Nick is notably was one of the members of the Backstreet Boys. So, but Aaron Carter came along after the Backstreet Boys and things like that, and he had kind of these bubblegum pop songs when he was, God, what was he? Probably, I don't know, 13, 14, 12, somewhere around that age range. He had some fun songs, little, goofy little kid pop songs. One about he had this little poppy rap song about how he played Shaq in a one-on-one basketball game, and that's how he beat Shaq, and, silly stuff like that. For me, I think he was first on my radar. He did a cameo on Lizzie McGuire. He was on an episode of Lizzie McGuire, one of their Christmas episodes, and he got to share a kiss with Lizzie McGuire with Hilary Duff, which made me very, very furiously jealous. And actually, I believe they dated for a little bit, which at that time and in my child brain just made me full on hate him. Like I just hated him. But all that aside, from everything that I gather, I mean, I don't know if you know much about the Carters, Nick and Aaron, the brothers.
I know that Nick, but I don't, not really know.
Their background, basically their parents stole everything, from them, took a lot of money from them, and by all accounts are just pretty shitty. Oh, obviously, I don't have to tell you they were shitty parents if they stole money from their children.
That's low. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think they both had their struggles over the years. They've both been on different reality shows. I think they had their own Aaron and Nick Carter reality show. I mean, I didn't watch it. I want to say it was Carter to Carter, the Carters, or something like that. It was basically them, and I think in therapy, working on issues and things like that. I know they both had a lot of issues, as one would, having such a traumatic experience with, your protectors, your people that raised you and take care of you and all that stuff. So I think he had a lot of demons. He had a lot of problems. There's definitely been a lot of things over the years. He's had his struggles with addiction and things like that. So on a serious note, I'm very sorry to hear that. It's just sad. I know he had a small child. So it's just, there's been various domestic things over the years, drug abuse. He's been in and out of rehab and things like that. So it's just kind of sad to see. I would. It wouldn't be fair for me to sit here and talk about his talent or anything, because like I said, I wasn't really this big fan. I don't know. I mean, exactly if he was a good singer or if he wrote his songs or if he acted. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I do know. I give him this. I send him off with this. he lived, I would imagine, a pretty charmed life, right? He got to, he had albums and he was
Mhm.
on television and he was known and he made a lot of money, enough to where his parents felt comfortable stealing from him and his brother. But, that and everything, he lived a charmed life, addiction and things like that aside and his struggles. But he also did get to date Hillary Duff. So to that, I will forever be a little bit envious. And, but seriously, it's sad to see anybody go that young, especially somebody with like young children or anything like that. So,
Yes, indeed.
little sad, little sad.
Absolutely. All right. Well, rest in peace. And you joke about people my generation passing on a little bit. Actually, I also a well-known
There you had to
singer.
go. You couldn't let me have my moment with my people, with my millennials.
That's okay.
You and your Gen Xers have to keep dying.
That's okay. Now, this guy was older than he was more of a boomer, I think. He was 76 years of age. Dan McCafferty, he was the lead singer of the rock band Nazareth. So
Okay, yeah.
You probably know a couple songs at least. Now You're Hair of the Dog. So it's Now You're Messing with the Son of a Bitch.
Yes, and Nazareth
Love
also.
Hurts.
Love. I was going to say, as soon as you said Nazareth, I'm thinking Dazed and Confused when he gets home and he lays down in bed and puts on the headphones and it's Love Hurts playing.
There you
Yes,
go.
Nazareth, exactly.
There you go. So he passed on at 76 years of age. So rest in peace to a couple of singers for sure. Okay, on a lighter note here, Nick, I caught this here just today. Netflix is going to do more experimenting with. They're going to do a live stream of a comedy show in early 2023 with the great Chris Rock. So I am interested here. So
so he'll be doing this live in real time, and you can stream it like a pay-per-view kind of situation.
That's what it seems to be.
You're already paying per view, so
right. So I mean, we know that Netflix is, they've lost some members, subscriptions over recent time. A lot more competition out there in streaming, services. So many pluses with Disney Plus, et cetera, et cetera. And they're just, give them credit. I mean, they're trying to experiment and offer different types of entertainment and. I think this will be interesting. I like Chris Rock anyway. He's one of the more talented stand-up comics, certainly in our time. But I don't know. I don't know if the live thing does it. Does
it hold appeal? You mean is it?
Yeah, it's a comedy special, so it's going to be the closest thing you can get to sitting there in a theater with Chris Rock. So in that respect, it's. Definitely very interesting. You're going to get all the raw, footage. He's a great one to, with, again, he's talented anyway. Obviously, he still has some added notoriety with the whole Will Smith slap thing and all that. So it's good to see him continuing to get out there and do his thing, So, I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning in to see, is he finally going to really talk about this on stage, because he's mentioned a little bit of things here and there, but I would almost guarantee he brings it up on this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, what do you think? Is this interesting in general to do a live comedy broadcast? Is it are you interested in this because it's Chris Rock or both? What do you think about this?
I think it is. I think it is interesting. Most notably because we haven't seen a lot of these streaming platforms do this. The whole thing with streaming is that it's on demand and it's everything you want and whenever it's on your schedule, right? But what I will say, so we had, when I was a kid, I mean, big thing was pay-per-views, right? Like for wrestling, we used to order them all the time. We were big into professional wrestling, WWE back then, and you'd pay all this money and you'd get friends over and you'd order some pizzas and wings and everybody got together and watched it, and it was kind of this fun thing that people did. But that was then, and then, everybody's lives got busy and times changed and, people didn't care as much, it seemed like, about that. I think what kind of flipped it, though, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think there is, because no one's really done this, or to my knowledge, or at least on a large scale, like Netflix is doing with Chris Rock here. Two big names. Netflix, big streaming platform, Chris Rock, big name in comedy. But I think that doing that definitely draws attention. I think it, gets people excited for that reason. But one thing that I noticed a lot, I think COVID definitely did a lot for bringing this kind of thing back, because I have this, for example, I have this app on my phone called Bands in Town, which is a great app for anybody who likes to go to concerts and likes to track your artists that you like. You can sync it up to your different music platforms, but it'll track all your artists that you listen to and follow on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. And then it'll send you alerts when they're coming to your town or when the show's been announced. And you can you can put a little bookmark in it and be like, oh, I'm interested in this one, or I have tickets, and it's got a little calendar. Here's your shows, all that stuff. So during COVID, when there were no live performances anymore, this band was, or this app, this Bands in Town, was constantly sending me these things that this band that you track is doing a live performance, a live stream, and this band that you track is doing a live stream, and this band. So everybody was doing that, in part to stay relevant to you, and in part to make you feel good and stay in touch with their fan base and do things like that. So, and I watched many live stream concerts during COVID, because I went to a lot of concerts before COVID, and then it happened and you couldn't go anywhere, and then you're like, well, shit. And it was kind of, even though you couldn't be with people, you couldn't see the acts you wanted to see, it was kind of nice to feel like you're having this shared experience right now in real time, with the artists that you love or other people that are, watching this thing. So it was kind of cool. But I think I think COVID did a lot to make that new to us again and make it kind of fun to watch something in real time. I would imagine after this airs live, Netflix will still have this, that you can still watch it on demand. Yep. But if you want to watch it as it's happening and that's fun to you, I would imagine, I would be willing to bet that the numbers are going to be pretty good for people tuning into the live version of it, just to be a part of it. And like I said, it hasn't really been done. I mean, you don't see Amazon or Hulu or any of these other ones, like I said, to my knowledge, doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's interesting. Like you say, it does definitely harken back to those events, or even just a television show for that matter, before you could record them. I mean, you just had to gather the family around. It was an event, so like you said, they're trying to recapture some of that. And without question, it's going to get buzz. So I'm sure all the social media platforms, people are going to be watching this, fans and critics and everything else, and be tweeting and posting and everything else as it's going on. So then probably it's going to get a surge to try to, I'm sure these are all things people think about when they plan something like this. Of course, the executives at Netflix is going to get they're going to gain some, attention with all this stuff here. So, yeah, it's neat. I'm kind of interested in that. It'd be interesting to, like you say, plan to sit down, get people together, watch this together. I'm sure that'll happen. I'm sure there'll be friends getting together and all this. So yeah, I like it. So we'll see what it does. I guarantee all these other platforms, they'll be watching this as well. See what kind of numbers it gets and everything. And then if it does well, you're going to see more of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, if nothing, even put aside the whole, it's Netflix and they're doing a new thing and it's Chris Rock and he's a big name in comedy. Like you said, that whole slap, I mean, if nothing else, even people that aren't like necessarily fans of Chris Rock, they're going to watch because they're going to want to see what he has to say about it. Or it's like you said, it's going to be brought up. It's 100%.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be huge. All right. Well, speaking of social media, we've been talking about Twitter with the whole Elon Musk buying it and everything else, and
how important we are on it, and how many, how much traction our account has on Twitter and things like that.
Yeah, that's right. We have 100 followers.
Ooh,
100.
100.
100.
100 and 100.
Nearly hundreds. Right. So, but, one of the things he talked about doing was he's going to get rid of the whole verified process, because in his mind, it's, separating kings from peasants or something like that. To where
this is sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But
you're right. It's ironic, isn't it?
Just for a moment, we had this discussion last week a little bit, not this exact one, but about the Elon taking over Twitter. And Dean goes, he's trolling everybody. He's this is, and I happened to look through his tweets, because him and God, who was? I don't know. I see him
Stephen
going back
King,
and forth
at least.
with different people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I felt that statement ring truer and truer as I'm going through these tweets, and his verbiage and the things that he said. Now, granted, Elon Musk is, and I could be wrong on this, but he's on the spectrum on
Yes.
some level.
Yep.
Autistic? I don't. Is
I think
he?
you're right. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
I feel like I heard that somewhere. I don't want to speak out of turn
Mhm.
and say it and it not be true, but because this is a super, accurate source of all information. People come to us for their news, for their facts. So I
That's
don't
right.
want to say anything out of turn. But yeah, so there could be something in that just maybe the way he words things or puts thoughts into his verbiage might be a little different than what some may be accustomed to. But I can't help but just think the way he's wording things and going after people and things like that, I'm like that it is purposeful. Like he's trolling people a little bit and he's pushing buttons and he's kind of playing that card. So, but continue. Yes.
No, it's okay. But yeah, some people that have verified accounts, because there was a process you had to go through, and typically it's people that have a lot of followers and things, and if you're following someone that's famous or whatever, you want to know that you're looking at tweets from that actual person, but not somebody trying to scam you or whatever the heck it is, right? So he talked
That's
about
what
getting
the check mark's for.
That's right.
That's exactly the point of it.
That's the purpose. You're exactly right. So, is it separating, royalty from peasants and all that? No, but it's like there's a reason why they go through the trouble to do that But anyway, he talked about getting rid of that feature and just make it a paid service for $8 a month. And then you can just, as long as you had an account, you pay the money, you can have your blue check mark, whatever it is. And some famous people were like, what's to stop people from buying an account, paying the $8 and putting someone's name on it that's not theirs? You already get those parody or otherwise accounts now.
Yeah, it's certainly not a premium price that the average Joe can't afford. The average Joe's paying more than $8 a month for Netflix every month. So
sure,
you don't have $8 kicking around.
That's right. I mean, for our paid service, it's like $24.99 a month.
That's right.
And the convincing idiots, go check that out. Yeah,
our OnlyFans account is
That's right.
But you're going to pay a premium for premium content.
Exactly right. So sure enough, now he is now offering that service, and already there's been a few people setting up accounts in famous people names, and it's causing a stir. One notably in this area, we're again in the Northeast Ohio area. If you listen to us, you know that. LeBron James, NBA basketball great from this area, Akron, Ohio.
I don't think you need to give LeBron James an intro. I think he's one of those names. You could literally he can be like LeBron, and I think that's a kind of a worldwide thing.
Yeah, that's another episode we'll do. Famous LeBrons. I like
Bronny, LeBron James. That's it.
Well, end of episode. Maybe that's a very mini-sode. Yeah. Anyway, so LeBron James had one, and somebody put up there that he was requesting a trade from the Lakers, and it caused a stir, and they had to get a hold of it and take it down and stuff. And now so there he goes. So is it just the tip of the iceberg? Are you going to see a lot more of this? How could Twitter, especially cutting staff, how are they going to be able to manage this effectively? Is it just going to become more and more of a mess? And is this going to be, see who wrangles it in? Is this start to be sort of the downfall of, it's already, you could argue anyway, a lot of people are already turned off by Elon Musk anyway, with his views and, they may not be as regulated and stuff like that. Other people are already looking for other platforms. So, I don't know. What do you think about this? Is this going to continue to damage Twitter? And, the average person maybe don't care, but certainly for more affluent users.
Yeah. Well, first off, we want to backtrack a little bit to the LeBron thing. tinfoil hat theory. Okay, we're no stranger to people in certainly in the sports world and many other realms having burner accounts like Kevin Durant. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So tinfoil hat theory. We all know what kind of start the Lakers are off to, or at least you and I do.
So
We follow
LeBron
basketball.
was setting up a fake LeBron account.
What if LeBron was floating it and then he was like, "Oh, that's not me. That was somebody must have paid that $8 for that check mark," just to see if it's out there in the ether. You know, that maybe he doesn't want to play there anymore.
He says it wasn't, but you
That's
never
not
know.
me.
You're right. It doesn't matter.
That's not
Yeah.
LeBron. That's Brelon James. That's yeah.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. I think, unfortunately, I think that I don't know. Twitter has such a foothold in social media, and not only in social media, but like I don't necessarily personally tweet a lot. It's a lot of retweets, and it's a lot for me, and it's hockey related stuff. But I do Twitter if something happens or I catch wind of something newsworthy or anything. The first app I open is Twitter. I don't go to Safari and Google a name. I go to Twitter because if it's something big or actually perfect example. Saturday, I don't remember where I heard the first tidbit of something about Aaron Carter. But to fact check it or to see what what was going on or what people were saying, the first app I opened was Twitter to see who was saying what about Aaron Carter. Because if you get enough people talking about it, it's trending and it's, a whole thing. Now, that can lead you astray. There's been multiple stories over the years of, I can't remember who it was. Was it Danny Glover was one of them that people said that he died, or Morgan Freeman? And then, there was this thing trending that they had passed away, and then they get on Twitter and go, "I'm alive. It's fine. I'm fine." So it's not impossible that you would get the false information. It's just, like I said, Twitter has this stronghold in media. There's a lot of notable people on Twitter, a lot of accredited journalists on Twitter. Typically, it is a place where you can get information quickly in real time. So I feel like Twitter is not going to lose much until something takes that mantle from them. I could see Elon fucking around with this stuff and charging people and doing all this crazy stuff and getting all this bad publicity and to where people do migrate away. But the question is, where do they go? Facebook has already Facebook's been down this road, right? People have stopped using, a lot of people, the vibe on Facebook, it's a lot of people that you personally know. It's everybody you've ever met, that you went to high school with, that you've ever seen at a gas station more than once. It's like, Facebook is like your town, right? But on the internet. And it's a lot of people reposting things, and Facebook's been questioned for, people's security and the information they let out. Facebook's kind of had their day in the sun. They're trying to reboot it, but that's where that's at. Now, Twitter has been this thing where, at least in my experience, yes, there are some people on my Twitter feed that I do know personally, but for the most part, this is celebrities. These are sports journalists, things like that I can follow and catch a glimpse into their lives, or the people who I trust that they're reporting, or they're talking about the teams or the athletes or news that I'm interested in. They're going to give me that information. So you're not going to, where are we going to go? Instagram? Like, Instagram's not giving you that. So what's the next thing that's going to come along? It's the same thing with Snapchat. Snapchat's huge. TikTok is huge, but TikTok's fun. It's when Facebook was fun before everyone's grandma got on there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not giving you news. It's not giving you that. Nothing's giving you what Twitter's giving you, in my opinion, that I've found that I'm on. So until something comes along that is Twitter-esque and can give people a little more peace of mind, I don't know. People can boycott it and go away from it and things like that, but where else are you going to get this information? You know what I mean? You can go to the person directly. I'm sure people have blogs and things like that, but I just, until something pops up and takes over for them, I don't know how big of a hit it can really take, because it's providing everyone with something that no one else is.
Yeah, you're right. It is a very unique app. Like I said, it's like I don't know. It's just the equivalent of a huge room that, if you choose to walk into it, You never knew. You can, if you wish, walk up to whoever you want to and listen to what he or she has to say, or you may kind of quote unquote overhear an interesting conversation and things like that. If you want to put something out there, somebody may see it. Some famous may see it. And you're right. You don't really have that opportunity to where it's possible if you mention somebody that's famous or otherwise, they may see it. Yeah. They may comment onto it or whatever it is. So yeah, it's definitely very unique in that respect. So I'm kind of with you. I think they're going to have to get a hold of it. Otherwise, they're going to lose some affluent people that may just, they may leave at least for a while, realize there's nothing else, and come back. I mean, who the heck knows? But
that's a really good metaphor, by the way, like a good comparison of basically being in a big, walking up to any conversation, and that's a really good way to describe it in a physical form.
Yeah, it's like a huge, party, social gathering. You know what I mean?
My big Twitter claim to fame was Danny Trejo retweeted one of my tweets, so that was pretty cool.
Right, that's kind of neat, right? When would that ever? Right. When would you ever have the opportunity to walk up to Danny Trejo and he just, just that opportunity, but yet he saw something that you said and liked it and shared it. Yeah, it's neat to get those little things like that. So
so
kind of on that same note, making the new Mastodon is another social media app. Okay. Some people have been trying to go check this out. So there already are people looking for alternatives, right? But a lot of people are saying that this just is not. This isn't it. This is not built for the same thing for Twitter. I guess it has multiple independent servers across different regions. There's different sections, apparently. That's different topics. So it kind of seemed like not Reddit. Like Reddit, I suddenly got my head around. Reddit, I know you can open up a forum.
Yeah, Reddit's like a giant message board, essentially. Okay. Reddit is just message, but like it is very choose your own adventure, like specific. So like if I want to talk about hockey, but not even specifically hockey, I want to talk about fantasy hockey, I can go to a Reddit board about fantasy hockey, and it's an open forum on that subject. You know what I mean? Okay. So and you're under that subject kind of thing. There again, don't use it a lot, but I kind of understand what it is. One of the things about Reddit that always kind of weirded me out was like the interface of it's very like early internet. Like it does. It looks like a message board on like AOL back in the day. Right. But I mean, a lot of people use it, and a lot of people, you can, post stuff and all that. I don't know. I don't know. It's funny as things drift away from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and there's all these different ones. I'm feeling myself age. Like I have a Snapchat, but I don't use it. Yeah, sometimes I send funny filters to my kids, but mostly like my kids, who are, by the way, about to be 7 and the one just turned 11, are so fucking creative with Snapchat and funny. And I just like don't know, like I talk to them, but like I don't put stuff out on Snapchat. Like, I don't know. Same with TikTok. I have a TikTok account. We also have a TikTok account as well, but I've never uploaded anything to TikTok. I watch people on TikTok, but it's like, I'm like, is this what I might get? Is that what it is? I'm getting old. I think it's what it is. I'm 34 and I don't feel like lip syncing to a country song and doing an elbow dance on TikTok. So I guess I'm old now. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
No, I don't know. But I don't know if it's about being old per se. It's just, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of creative. I mean, I will say though, there is definitely a lot of creative people on those apps that really. Some are just like, I don't know. We go off on a tangent on this topic for sure, but I feel like TikTok is just such a high volume of hot girls lip syncing or dancing to the same 3 to 4 things.
Yeah.
The whole, and then, all of a sudden they're in a bikini. It's like, okay, very, very impressive.
Consider me thirst trapped. You've got me. Okay.
Very impressive. I might look at another couple of videos while I'm here.
Yeah.
But it's the same So I don't know, but there's a lot of different, very unique and creative people out there and stuff like that. But
I'm gonna
I
have
don't know.
myself a jizz blast. I'm gonna be on my way.
That's right.
Check you later. See you later.
Pop in
Swipe.
for a GB and whoosh, out of here.
Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how to make rigatoni. There you go. See you go.
Now that's a unique. Yeah, you could do that actually on TikTok within a matter of moments. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I threw
Anyway.
you way off topic.
No, it's okay.
I do have a couple questions about Mastodon. Is there any
Sure.
is it anything notable as far as who runs it, or is it just a bunch of people flocking to something new?
That's what it is. They're flocking to something new. It's been around since 2016, and I think these guys are probably surprised that they're probably getting more traffic into this because of Twitter. So the platform's founder, Eugen Roshko, he said Monday that Mastodon, they have more than 1 million active users, but they say that they're not really responding to requests for comment yet. Because like I said, they're probably just like, whoa, wait a minute, people are flocking this and checking this out. But it says here, it operates in a similar way to email in that a member of one Mastodon website can interact with a member of another, just as if an Outlook user messaged a Gmail user. It has its own version of hashtags, like boosts, they're called.
Okay.
So the service is not controlled by so it's made up of numerous servers which are run by individual administrators and often center around specific topics. So server administrators and moderators create their own rules and policies for their members to follow. So it sounds maybe like a sort of a version of Reddit in that respect. So maybe I have a section maybe of pop culture stuff on Mastodon, perhaps. I administer it and all that. People can join with them and they can interact in certain ways, but it's not like a whole big forum, it sounds like. So there's been different memes people are posting, of all these very confusing, like an old, people just making fun, basically, how complicated it is, how complicated to log in and use it and stuff like that. So I don't think Mastodon necessarily.
Nobody said progress was going to be easy. All right, so you just got to work at it.
It's coming soon. Convincing Idiots on Mastodon.
Absolutely. I'm going to get a Mastodon account. I'm a fan of the band, and I'm a fan of the Megazord of my favorite Power Rangers. So I'm going to get a Mastodon account. There we go. It's enough for me.
There you go. Perfect. Well, perhaps if there's an apocalypse and someone's held up in a bunker or something like that, maybe they learn that's the time to settle in and maybe really learn how to use Mastodon or something like that. Absolutely. I don't know.
Well, all I can say is if someone is in an apocalyptic setting, I sure as hell hope that they have insurance. And there is no one better to have had insurance from in this apocalyptic hellscape than Aaron Blake at Blake Insurance Agency. I don't have the information that Dean does. I don't have the script that he does to tell you what number to call. But you can feel free to go back into any of our previous episodes and you can find the phone number. All you have to do is go to Facebook or Google and just search Blake Insurance Agency. And there, Aaron Blake will give you a free 5-minute quote today. They offer home, auto, renters, business, and so much more. So many more types of insurance, okay? Again, I don't have the Dean script. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure all the things that I said, they can offer you, as well as a 5-minute quote. So be sure to call our good friend Aaron Blake at Blake Insurance Agency today. They are an Erie insurance agent, and their service is above all else. So let them know that these idiots sent you.
Very good.
Blake Insurance Agency. There we go. Sorry. That was my clunky way to work that read-in without any sort of script.
That was very good. We'll tag team on that one here. I do have the number.
Oh, there it is. Brian's going to tell you. There we go.
Yeah, you want to call 234-571-5359 or look them up, as Nick said, on social media, Facebook, etc. You can also email Aaron at aaron@blakeinsurancellc.com. So there you have it.
I'll tell you what, if only Blake Insurance Agency offered pants insurance, then our buddy Dean would have been here today and would be having a much better time this evening.
That is right. Story caught my eye, Nick. This sounds old. Maybe it is old, but I like 60 Minutes on Sunday evenings. I've been watching 60 Minutes for a long time, and they have a podcast version of the television show. And that's usually how I catch it. Okay. It's strictly just a recording of the television show. That's it.
Yeah.
So you don't, and you get enough out of it to visualize what they're talking about, but they also you can go pull up the CBS website and get individual stories of 60 Minutes, whatever. It's all there. You can find it, YouTube, etc. So still, by the way, if you don't really watch 60 Minutes, it's just still a rock solid program, in my opinion. It's all kinds of interesting stories. The subjects vary every week. It's not a quote unquote old person show.
60 Minutes does get that rap though, eh? Like it does. Well, why is that? Is it because of the clock ticking, like the pocket watch? I don't know. It's just maybe known it's Sunday. It's maybe an older person. Maybe it's people remember watching it with their grandparents or something. I don't know, but it's one of the longest running television shows. Period. Yeah. Okay. It's solid journalism. It's it's good stuff. Yeah. And it's not political. They give you both sides of the story. It's not like they don't lean one way or the other. They give you just I don't know. Anyhow, I caught a story this past weekend, luxury bunkers. Okay. So basically, people, the well-to-do, some of these folks are buying luxury bunkers, and it sounds exactly what it is. So it's you're making one on your own. You're setting up an elaborate bunker somewhere. Could be in your own home, or again, one guy here bought an old nuclear. What was it here now? Is let's see here, a nuclear silo. Here it is. This guy paid $300,000 in 2008 for a decommissioned nuclear missile silo. He and investors put $22 million into this thing. It holds 75 people. There's 14 private units in this thing. Each one goes for $2.4 million cash. Hoo-wee. Okay. Look this up. If you're listening to us, just look up luxury bunker 60 Minutes or luxury bunkers or something like that. It is astounding. There's gel fireplaces, televisions, power source. They have a wind power source. They have I don't know if there's a picture of this or not, but they described it. They have a lounge and a bar. They have a jail cell. So their own working community underground, basically. Working community underground. Somebody comes down and goes, "Hey, we've reestablished society. You guys can come back up now." Like, that's all right. I'm gonna stay down here. It's fine. There's a bar down here. That guy got out of hand. He's in fucking jail. That's fine. The guy said, "Yeah, I noticed. Looks like a jail cell over there." The guy says, "Yes, because we have a lounge and a bar. So if somebody has a bad day and drinks too much or whatever, then they take an adult time out." Have a bad day. Wow. What happened at your fake work underground that you had a bad day, had to go let off some steam, and got put in fake jail underground by the mole people? What the fuck is happening? Wow. And I guess you could sustain a couple years in there, right? Yeah. But it interviews different people who have set up. I think if I remember, it's the basic ones to more elaborate ones on their own in their area to prepare for an apocalyptic event. Now, somebody, if I remember correctly, what they lived through, they ran down into their own bunker it was like a major fire or something like that. That rushed that came through the area, and they got out of there okay. But some people, they take this very, very serious. Was that the guy in the cabin with the handlebar mustache or whatever? I just caught that part of the. Yes. He had the mustache and the. He might have been the guy. Just with he might have been the investor guy. He might have been the guy that helped set this up, perhaps. I know you're talking about. Yeah, in the story. Yeah. Just very interesting. Yeah, people take it very serious. They have freeze-dried
food and different things. One lady described that it took her 2 years on order to get a wood burning stove because they were so hard to get. But now that she has her stove, she's all set and this and that. So people are preparing for something. They mentioned things like, the climate change and different things to where they may need to get somewhere safe quickly and they can sustain themselves. And they say that, they're hopeful for, one question basically is, well, do you think something's going to happen because you're doing this? And some people believe, well, I just want to be prepared in the sense that I want to be able to survive because I have hope for the future and I want to live through it versus, whatever. So I don't know. And honestly, I looked up just, luxury bunkers just to try to find a news story. My feed was filled with companies selling bunkers. The whole Google page, boom. It wasn't even about the news story. It was
that algorithm was on it. They were like, "Hey, you in the market? You looking to buy all these bunkers?"
Yeah, all these companies selling bunkers at all kinds of different prices. It's really something else here, and I'm sure it's probably become more and more popular. Of course, with all the actual natural disasters and everything else that's going on.
Sure,
here. People are they want to be prepared just in case. So, I remember a Richard Pryor, though, on the other side of it, Richard Pryor, and this is a bit in the 70s or whatever, I thought it was hilarious. He was talking about that. He was talking about people, setting up a bomb shelter at home, and it's like, that's great. If when the bomb hits, you're home.
That's true.
He said, but if we're out like this, we're fucked.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What if you're on vacation that week? You ain't fucking getting home. What if you're states away? Like, you're fucked. Yeah.
It was like, but if a bomb drops on this theater and there's a fire or something like that, I got news for everybody in this theater. I'm getting out. But anyways, that's just a hilarious comment.
What if you spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars? Let's not say it's not even luxury. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Have you ever seen the movie Blast from the Past? Like with Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone? That's essentially what happened. There was, they were prepping for, a bomb or something like that. So they built underneath their home, they built this bunker. Christopher Walken was the dad. They built this, it was a replica of their home underground. Okay. And then, so he had this, fish, where they would spawn and they basically had an endless supply of fish. So they had food to eat. It was always, regenerating. He had everything set up. He was, Brendan Fraser was born underground and was homeschooled and all this stuff and never seen the sky, but they had an outdoor patio. They had fake grass. He replicated their home underground, right?
Okay.
So it's, for what it is, it's a decent movie, like mid to late 90s or whatever. Let's say you did all this stuff, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
To really think this shit through. We're not talking about canned goods. We're talking about fish and all this stuff, and they're respawning. You're eating fish, and you got the canned goods. You got all the tools in place. You've got a whole second life that you paid, built underground, right? You run out to the store to get something one day, run-of-the-mill day, and then fucking catastrophe happens, and you're not there. What then?
Right.
What
exactly.
then?
Right.
You can't get there. It's already happened. That's a really good... I've never once thought of that, and that is brilliant. That is such a good point. I've never thought of that. What if you can't get to this safe space? What if you're, I don't know, living your life like you do, and you're not at home 24/7, and you can't get to your safe place that you did all this prepping for?
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's certainly assuming you're right, that you have something's coming.
Yeah.
And you could get there. Like this here, the guy I see you in the luxury bunker, the guy was like, well, could it be overrun? People know it's here. And this particular bunker here, the silo thing, has armed guards and a gate and this and that. But again, that could fall apart too. The armed guards may say, "We're out of here," because if something's happening, are they going to stand there at a post?
Yeah.
You know, I don't
I'm
know.
going to be
It's
employed
all
by
very
you for
interesting.
potentially the rest of my life. Like, what the
Right.
fuck?
I mean, I get the guy's point that people aren't going to be able to run up to this bunker and do any damage to it. I
Right.
get that too, but again, you still got to get in there, and you got to get from your car into the thing. And if people are overrunning that, I mean, I don't know. It's all very interesting. It's like a perfect thing if you can get there safely and get inside, then you're okay for a little bit. But I don't know. So what do you think about it? Are people, are they smart in some respects? Are they, or maybe it depends on where you live. Maybe if you're in an area where a natural disaster is maybe likely to happen, and you're more likely to be home and can get to safety, that makes maybe a little bit more sense to me personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. But to have a luxury bunker, again, are you smart in some ways, kooky, or maybe a little bit of both? I don't know. What do you think?
I think both can be true here. Like, it's so initially when that subject comes up and people talk about like their, like doomsday preppers and the, all the stuff, and they're compiling all these goods, and you're like, oh, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you meet one of those people in real life, like, sorry if you're listening, but if you, just speaking for myself, if you're talking to me about like, and you're putting plans in action to like prep for something, there's that thought in my head that I'm like, oh, okay, this might be a screw or two loose, right? Like, like that you're maybe not that you're not thinking soundly. It's just that maybe you're going overboard, right? Because we've had the luxury in my lifetime, in our lifetimes, that nothing that severe has ever happened to where we have to be afraid or be that fearful or think that we have to go to that extreme, right? I will say, since having children, it sure would suck, right? To be in a situation where like you can't do anything. Like when I was a single guy or whatever, it's like, okay, if something happens, then I die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I don't value my life. It's just whatever, you know what I mean? But then you have children, and then like it's your duty to like protect them and do all the, like make sure they're okay. And, for example, we're talking about these people that do all this preparation and they survive if there's apocalypse or there's climate disaster. Like, you're still on the earth. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, what are you surviving for? You know what I mean? Like, for what reason?
That's a thing too.
What are you going to go back to, if there's anything to go back to? Are you planning on living the rest of your this mortal coil in this bunker until you die, just so you don't have to die? Like, it's, you know what I mean? What is the end goal, right? But then you have kids, and then you're like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Your only goal is to protect them and take care of them, and nothing happens to them. So I don't know. I think both things are true. I think, yes, like, it's extreme. It is extreme. And I'm probably, a lot of these people that do this doomsday prepping would probably be like, yes, this is extreme. They would probably tell you that. But in the event that something were to actually happen, you sure as shit would be happy that you did it. Sure. If you needed to resort to that. But I get, really, when you get outside of your emotions and your, all these things, these duties that you have, the things that you feel you owe to people and to take care of this person, that person, whatever. If it's something natural or something like just completely catastrophic that like nothing will ever be the same again, it's like, is there a point? You know what I mean? I hate to be like, to take that mentality, but it's like, is there a point to surviving something so horrible that like the world you knew and grew accustomed to will never exist like that again? A
lot of people feel that way. I'm with you. I tend to agree with that in many respects. I mean, like I said, to me, it needs to make a lot of sense if you're living in an area that has, just known for tornadoes and hurricanes and different things like that, to where something is coming. I know it's coming, and it's not severe enough to where of course, if it's a tornado, you just have to get somewhere quickly, of course, to maybe survive.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that makes a lot of sense. To where you can get somewhere safe, you have enough food and water to last for the storm to pass, and but like you say, just to have it set up to where you could be down somewhere for an extended period of time and come out to a world that you say like you may not want to live. It's an interesting mindset. These people, well, of course, that's what their mindset is. I'm going to survive. So I'm going to find a way to survive, and if the world around me is different, I'm going to figure it out and adapt and try to carry on the human race. There's all these thoughts, I'm sure, go into the minds of folks who have the means to come up with or to pay for these things. And I don't know. It's very interesting. I love the show The Twilight Zone. I'll just mention this. One of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes, very interesting. A guy, and this is in the 50s, 60s, black and white. He built a bomb shelter in his basement, right, just to prepare, because this was at the time where there were air raid sirens and all that, and people had to get somewhere safe and stuff like that. So he built a bomb shelter.
This is, by the way, when Blast from the Past takes place, so it's the same deal. But yes, go on.
Very good. Yep. Interesting. So it's a dinner party with neighbors. Neighbors in this little street somewhere in the United States, and it's all very friendly. It's a birthday party, so it's cake, and everybody's friendly, all this type of stuff. And the next thing you know, there's like air raid sirens, right? And the family, they want to get down to the basement. It's a doctor and and his wife and kid, and they're like, we're going to go to our shelter. And his friends did not set up the shelters, and now it's this whole thing. So it quickly, from a setting a moment ago where people are just friendly neighbors, and now people are clamoring to get
Lord
into
of the Flies.
Exactly.
Yep.
They're trying to get into this bomb shelter, threatening, pleading, trying to break in, and it just gets quickly out of control. And then, inevitably the alarm goes off and all that. And all of a sudden it's like they have to stop and reflect, and they really got to see who each other really are. And from that moment, it's never going to be the same. It's like, it's an ingenious episode.
Yeah.
Go check that out. But anyways, all right. Well, if you could be, it's possible. It is possible. Somebody right now, Nick, is watching this very episode in a luxury bunker. The world itself is gone. Is no longer. It's no longer the same.
Yeah.
And somebody could be enjoying this very episode, combing through the archives of YouTube or something like that. So,
human history, we're part of it.
Yes, that's right. So. It's possible.
Yeah.
So you are. We wish you the best. We did not have the money to. Likely, maybe we did. I don't know. But at this stage, though, that this is 2022. We Dean, Nick, and I did not have the means to build a luxury bunker ourselves. So if things continue along this path, then we may not be on this earth any longer. But we hope you continue to enjoy episodes of Convincing Idiots. Now, if you try to order merch, it probably will be a very slow delivery.
These ad reads probably will not make a lot of sense to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
and for those of you not watching in the future, let this be a lesson to you. Okay?
That's right.
Brian just said we didn't have the money. So if you're not already subscribing to us or giving us $1 or $2 a month, be the difference. All right?
Yeah.
We might be able to help somebody.
Yeah. We would like to survive in a luxury bunker somewhere.
Absolutely. Maybe with the help from you or any of your friends and more than just my mom, we can survive this catastrophe.
Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, our families, the jury's out. At least the three of us. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll be all right. We'll survive.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that is strange to think about that. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. You never know. All right, so we're gonna take it. We're gonna take another break.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, it's very dark very quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, real dark.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take another break. We're gonna come back with a light topic. All right. So sequels, nothing to do with disaster or whatever, unless it's in a movie.
Other than what's going on in Dean's bathroom right now.
That's
probably.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So
that is disastrous.
Right. Yes, big time. A lot of waffle stomping in there, Nick. So I don't know what's going on.
We have live footage from the scene, but we're not allowed to show it on YouTube. So yeah.
Yes, Dean has talked about paranormal experiences. Really, on our Halloween episode, he talked about that in his bathroom, but probably none today. No. Everything is keeping out of there today.
Yeah, they're staying away.
Yeah, the cat, everybody.
Poor Ernie. Yeah. We got a life flight. We got a life flight him out of there. I got to send somebody over there. We got to get Ernie out.
Yeah, so one more break. We're going to come back with again, I say sequels. Some of our most some ones that we enjoyed, and some that we thought were not as good. So we'll be right back. And again, if you're listening to us and it's a post-apocalyptic, what else do you have to do?
Yeah, stay tuned for the sequel.
Yeah, just just hang out, wait for things to get better outside, and check out a few more episodes, will you?
Wait for the environment to heal itself.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's right. Be right back.
This town is dead until after dark.
Welcome to Salem's Lot.
Stephen King brought them to life.
Vampires.
Now,
What are you doing here, boy?
they rise from their graves again.
Dad! Get me my son back! Vampires!
As only Stephen King could create them. A Return to Salem's Lot, directed by Larry Cohen.
And we are back here on Convincing Idiots. If you are hearing our voices, congratulations. You have made it out of the other side of the tunnel. You are here. You are in the new world. You have survived the apocalypse, and you are here with myself, Millennial Nick, along with Gen X Brian. And today, for our final segment, we decided we were going to talk about some sequels, some follow-ups to maybe films or TV shows or any other properties that maybe we enjoyed, some that we enjoyed, some that we did not enjoy. Typically, originals get a pretty good rap, while sequels sometimes don't live up to the expectations of the first. But one thing I can tell, for example, okay, like you grow up, you're a child, right? Your mode of transportation is a bicycle. You love getting around on your bikes. It's how you get to see your friends. It's how you get around. You don't have a driver's license. How could you beat a bike? However, our friends at RPM Bike Shop have made the sequel to the traditional bicycle, if you will. They have made an electric bike. That's right. I didn't stutter. It's an electric bike. And they have everything you can imagine. They can make all your wildest dreams come true. They have made the perfect sequel. All you have to do is dial 330-808-7792 to give them a call. You can also go see their wonderful products by searching on Facebook. In the toolbar there, just search RPM Bike Shop. They are located in Carrollton, Ohio. You can see their wonderful products. You can also see their products on their website, which is rpmbikeshop.com. So be sure to stop over there, check out their wonderful bikes that they have to offer you, and you could be on your very own ride to the sequel of your dreams today with an electric bike from RPM Bike Shop. So give them a call. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. So, but yeah, sequels are enjoyable. Okay. And they're not all quite the big hit that an electric bike is, the newest form of transportation, like our friends at RPM Bike Shop have. However, over the years, being film connoisseurs that we are, we've come across some good ones, some bad ones. So Brian, I would like to start. Let's see. I'm gonna take a look around the room. Brian, I'll start with you. Yes, you look eager. You look ready to go. Go ahead. Good or bad? Give me. What do you want to do? You want to start good? You want to start bad?
I'll give you a Well, I'll give you one bad one. It's one I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I'll start with that real quick here. So,
Yeah.
A Return to Salem's Lot. So again, Salem's Lot it's a vampire movie set in actually they've remade Salem's Lot a couple times. I just noticed I saw today actually that there's going to be another reboot of Salem's Lot coming out next year. So I'm interested in that.
Okay.
It's actually a very good story.
I'm not familiar with Salem's Lot at all.
That's
so
okay.
go ahead and give me a brief synopsis here. Yeah.
Very brief synopsis of Salem's Lot is it's a small town I think it's in New England. It's like Jerusalem's Lot, so they call it Salem's Lot, and the vampires live there. So a writer discovers them, and then the vampires are starting to take over the town and decides to go hunt them. So it's a very simple, basic premise, but very good storyline and all that. So the original was in 1979. So it's definitely a 1979 movie, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. If you're not talking about it, it's set in the 70s, whatever. Anyway, the sequel came out in 1987, which I did not realize. It just one of the most bizarre sequels. So basically, a guy goes back into Salem's Lot with his son, who's a troublemaker. Vampires are living in the town. They've taken it over. They're kind of hiding out in this town, ruling. It just. I can go on and on about it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with it. Just very bizarre. I'll just give you one thing. The guy talked about a girl that he dated in the past, right, when he was a younger man. Okay. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, there's a girl there, says something along the lines. Now, this guy's it's Michael Moriarty, who's been in a lot of different movies and stuff like this. He's an early acting job for him. Good old surprise. He's clearly in his 30s, okay, or thereabouts, okay. This girl says, I wanted to preserve myself as you remember me. So she's a vampire. Preserve myself as you remembered me all those years ago. Immediately jumps right in the bed, has sex with her. And I'm thinking, now let me hold on here for just a second here. You said that you remembered her as 17 years old. Here's a young woman. The actress is in her 20s, I think. I'm just like, what is happening here? So did I just witness a man in his 30s?
I want you to be able to be with an underage girl again. Yeah.
Right. His ex-girlfriend who is a teenager, and within 30 seconds, you're right in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Anyway, very bizarre, not well done. The special effects are crazy, nuts. If you want to see maybe a good, bad movie, maybe watch it, but really bizarre, strange. I would never watch it again, unless it was for fun or something along that line. But, like to make fun of, that type of thing. So, anyway, that's one. I'll start you out with that. So, a Return to Salem's Lot, thumbs down on that one. Nick, whatever you want to do, a good or bad one, sir.
I'll stick with a bad one here. This is just a real big old gimme. So we've talked a lot about superhero movies. Both you and I have been big fans of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series. Spider-Man 3 has to be one of... So as leading into this, I had to ask you specifically, because I wasn't sure of the details, if a sequel could be, if a sequel was simply the secondary film, like the immediate follow-up to an original, or any of the previous ones. So when you said it was any of the previous ones, Spider-Man 3 seems to be the biggest free space on the bingo board. Yep. Spider-Man 3, those Tobey Maguire movies were very good, the first two of them. The third one had a lot of promise. I felt like the character of the Sandman was really good.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked it many times. I'm a big fan of the character of Venom. I was beyond excited that they were going to put Venom in a Spider-Man movie. Only to have him played by Eric from that 70s show, Topher Grace, which no fault to his. Just the casting decision off the hop was not right.
No.
And Venom wasn't even the worst part. The miscast of Venom was not the worst part. They even made fun of it in Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse. The dancing scene where he's got the symbiote and he's being kind of like bad boy Peter Parker, and he's like goes into this jazz club and he's dancing, and it's awkward and uncomfortable and weird and clunky and just horrible, and no one would ever do that. It's just such a bad. It makes me so upset because it's like it could have been so good, and you'd already seen, like I said, first Spider-Man, thought it was great. Second Spider-Man, perhaps even better. And then, so you had this expectation that, okay, this is the trajectory of this is good. And then the third one just shit the bed so hard, much like our friend Dean. It was awful. And so Spider-Man 3 is up there for bad sequels for me.
I agree with you. It's Sam Raimi has said many times it was not the movie he wanted to make. It was they tried to pack way too much into one movie. Too many villains, too many storylines. They try to shoehorn in Gwen Stacy in that movie, if you remember.
Yeah.
The whole rivalry with her and Mary Jane. It's just, like you say, too much. The only good thing about best thing about that movie is the dancing scene when he's walking down the street. If you remember, it was filmed in downtown Cleveland, Ohio.
Was it?
Yes, indeed. So you can pick out some of the buildings in downtown Cleveland.
So we have the fumble, the drive, the dancing scene. the taking my talent to South Beach. The decision, and then the dancing scene. Yes, that's right.
There you go. Yeah, they should put that in the clip, the sports clip. Every time Cleveland blows something, 2016.
You fucked
World
up
Series,
like the Spider-Man
Tobey Maguire
trilogy.
dancing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so I'll give you a bad one here too. Now this, I didn't give you a good one yet. I'll give you a good one. I gave you a bad one last time here. Arguably one of the best sequels in ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly, we are big fans of this universe here. So how about the Empire Strikes Back? So it's like some people say that is the best Star Wars movie of all of them, and they would not be wrong to think that way at all. So I know we've done our list. We've done many Star Wars episodes. Empire Strikes Back is typically 1 or 2 in many people's lists. Just well done. When you watch Star Wars, you think, how in the world are they going to come back and top this movie? And by damn, they did. Yeah, it was at least on par, if not better, than the original Star Wars. So arguably, still, of all the Star Wars movies they've made, it's still top 2, 3 easily. One of the best sequels, certainly in that franchise. It's probably the best sequel in that franchise, period. Let's start right there.
Yeah.
And one of the best Star Wars movies, period, still to this day. So hard to top.
Absolutely. I had that on my list as well. I think when our first episode, we did our rankings and stuff like that. I've always personally been partial to Return of the Jedi. But I understand. I've said on that episode, I understand that Empire Strikes Back is like the best movie of Star Wars. In my opinion, I think it's just the most well done. It's a great movie. When I was a kid, it seemed a little long, but now it's just it is. It's a great movie. I was actually the first one that I had written down when I was writing down my good sequels. It was Empire first. So good pick. Good pick. Yep.
Thank you.
I will follow up with another good pick, and probably again another obvious one. Maybe not as obvious as Empire, but definitely we are fans of this character as well. And in the Christopher Nolan saga of the Batman movies, The Dark Knight. Dark Knight might still be the best superhero movie. Period. I don't know. It's debatable.
Arguably one of the best. I agree.
But Batman Begins was a solid movie. It was a different take on Batman than what we had seen in the earlier years with the Joel Schumacher movies and the changes in Batman and all the things, So, different, more down to earth, I would say, realistic take on Batman in Batman Begins. Good movie, but man, The Dark Knight, whole other level. True, just stepped outside of a superhero movie. True, just drama Just great movie, just well done. Heath Ledger, obviously. I don't need to tell anybody about how he took the Joker to another level. Everybody knows. So well done. Just the plot line, the spin on the characters. Dark Knight is one of the best sequels ever, hands down. Period.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is the first superhero movie, period, where an actor won an Oscar for a portrayal in a superhero movie. I'm pretty sure. And of course, he
right?
passed on. Of course, poor Heath Ledger had passed on when he won that award. But I think so. I think so. So yeah, like I'm with you 100%. One of my favorite movies, period, let alone superhero movies, is The Dark Knight, because of the whole dynamic with Heath. And I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that played Two-Face too, the whole Harvey, he was fabulous in that movie as well.
Aaron Eckhart, was it?
That's right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yep.
Fabulous.
Yep.
Fabulous. So,
yeah.
All right. I'll give you another bad one here.
Okay.
How about the last Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay. I didn't see it, and honestly, the reason was because everybody said it was bad.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
The word of mouth in that thing, it's a shame, because the first Wonder Woman was quite good, and I like Gal Gadot in that role. Yeah. Not her fault. So it's just bizarre, strange, bizarre. So here's your premise: my boyfriend died in the first movie. This is the premise. Someone write this out. And someone said, I like it. Green light, go. Or maybe they said, nah, it's Wonder Woman that's going to sell, or something like that. This is why now you have James Gunn and Peter Safran, I'm sure, is one reason at the helm to say, if they're in charge, this movie does not get made. I guarantee it. It's not with this script. So, long story short, my boyfriend is dead. He possesses some dude I don't know. He and I sleep with him because he's my boyfriend, but he's in some other guy's body.
As you do, sure.
And it's perfectly okay and fine. I'm with my quote unquote boyfriend, but it's some random dude that's been possessed by my boyfriend, who's dead, and I'm just having a great old time with this guy, sleeping with him and having adventures and stuff like that. Meanwhile, it's like this guy's life. It's like, what's happened to this guy's life?
The guy that was possessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not showing up for work. His whole life is you're risking this guy's entire career and life because he's not. Does he have a significant
Jerry's
other?
been fucking Wonder Woman and he's just not showing up to work anymore?
But none of it comes up. Is this guy single? I don't remember any of that coming up here to where it's just like, and obviously, he's gone. He exits his body and all that, and they sort of have a moment on the street to where, did I maybe have sex with you? Sort of type deal, and wink, wink. I'm just like, what is happening? It's just completely off the rails. Crazy premise. The Wonder Woman scenes are great. All that's fine. But just that whole premise, it's just bizarre. Strange, bizarre. So
interesting.
Not recommend. So you've never seen it? No reason to. Unless you want to see, just understand and watch for yourself the whole weirdness of that concept. Other than that, no reason to watch it.
All right.
Unless you fast forward to the fight scenes, or maybe you just want to do that. Fast forward, watch her beat up people, which is cool. That's it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Move on. So
okay.
All right, you got to get a good or bad one, sir.
I will give you one more bad one here.
Okay.
And this is, I don't know if this is breaking the rules or not. I've never seen this movie. I don't need to see this movie because it didn't need to be made. Okay. I don't know if you know that this exists or not, but there is a Jingle All the Way 2. Which is a bunch of bullshit.
Larry the Cable
Guy, I don't need
right?
to see it. Yeah. You try to replace a lead actor like Arnold Schwarzenegger with Larry the Cable Guy. There's your first fuck up, and I don't even need a second one. I don't need to see. You don't need to improve on perfection. Okay. It was a straight to DVD film, never in theaters. Okay. I will not see Jingle All the Way 2. I have not seen Jingle All the Way 2. I never will.
Yeah.
So there you go.
No reason to. It sounds like.
No.
Okay.
No. That's it. It's it. I'm done. It's all the time it deserves. I'm done.
I'll give you a good one. I know it's one of our favorites. We're both Arnold Schwarzenegger fans.
Oh,
T2. This is another
Yes.
movie where it's arguably as good, if not, some people like T2 better than the original Terminator. And that's perfectly
I do.
fine to say that. Yeah, perfectly
do.
fine to say that. Great movie. A lot of fun. Obviously, he becomes the good guy in this. The morphing robot. I mean, if you're a remote fan of this pod, you watch T2. If for some unusual reason you've never seen the Terminator 2, just go back and check it out. It may not hold up as well, maybe with some of the special effects. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. Arnold's great. Go check out T2.
Yep. Nope. 100% agree. That's fantastic pick. As soon as you said Arnold, you were like sequel. I'm like, oh, T2, absolutely.
Yep.
I will go with, and this is probably not like a super popular one, or I know many people that maybe didn't like this movie as much. I love the Thor movies. I loved the second Thor movie, The Dark World. I know a lot of people that were kind of indifferent to it. They didn't really think it was that great. I
Better
thought
than
it
the
was
first.
phenomenal. I liked it better than the first one. I loved the scene where with the Anthony Hopkins, their father's gone, and then coming to terms with Loki, and it's a lot of, I don't know. I loved that movie. I really enjoyed it. I remember leaving the movie theater, seeing that movie, and just being like, wow, that, like, because I loved the first Thor movie, but that one really blew me away. I liked it a lot. So Thor, The Dark World, that was, for me, definitely a sequel to a superhero movie that I enjoyed. And sidebar, I'm looking very forward. Next week, I'll be able to tell you, in not so much detail because I don't want to give spoilers, but I will be able to tell you how the sequel to Black Panther holds up, because I plan on going to see that this weekend. So,
yeah, I definitely want to see that soon too. Yeah, I'm with you. It was surprisingly good, and as before, they took Thor into the more almost too extreme, goofy.
Yeah, before it was really comedies. They started focusing on the comedy role, which is fine because he fits. Chris Hemsworth does it well. He fits well into those roles, and he plays well into them, as we've seen in the Avenger movies and the Thor movies that have come after. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely at those times they were still character building, and there really wasn't a lot of the comic relief involved and things like that. So, but I loved the second Thor movie.
Very good. I'm a huge fan of the first movie. The sequel is one of the worst movies ever made. Literally, it made me angry and upset to watch the sequel of this movie. Not even joking. I don't think I've ever watched it, but maybe one time. Barely got through it because it's so terrible. Caddyshack 2.
Okay. I've never seen Caddyshack 2.
Again, the only reason to watch it would be if you want to see a train wreck of a movie and just to visualize it, just to take it in. Horrible. They wrote it with the idea of Rodney Dangerfield and Chevy Chase would come back and reprise their roles. Rodney Dangerfield said no thank you. They brought in comedian Jackie Mason for this. There's actually a lot of people in this movie. Dan Aykroyd is in this, and a few folks. Chevy Chase does come back and reprises his role of Ty Webb, but just crazy. Now, the premise, if I recall correctly, they turn Bushwood into like a huge like miniature golf course type thing with like Looney Tunes characters on the court. It's just horrible movie. It's if you're the original, I like it, and the original, a lot of people you love it or hate it type deal. But it's just at the opposite end of the spectrum of funniness of Caddyshack 2. Horrible.
Bad.
Horrible.
Bad.
You look at any of these lists online, worst sequels, usually it's going to contain Caddyshack 2. Terrible.
Yeah. Alrighty, I will give you another.
You want to call out?
I've got one.
I know it's getting late, but
go
ahead, please.
One more bad, one more good. Okay.
Perfect.
One more bad here. I had such high hopes because I loved the first Transformers movie. I eagerly went to see the second Transformers movie in the theater, and honestly, I've never walked out of a theater because I've already paid the money to be there. I was pretty close in that one. They tried so hard to shoehorn comedy into it and introduce new characters that were goofy and funny, and it was over. The first one did such a good job of introducing comedy but not trying so hard. There were these quippy little remarks and things like that, and it was funny, people's reaction to things. They didn't have to make fun, goofy characters and try to appeal to children and do all the like the second Transformers. I was so upset. Like you said with Caddyshack, I was like just upset in the theater. I'm like, what the hell happened? The first one, and I wasn't even the biggest. I mean, Transformers was popular, but before I was, it was a little bit before my time. So when that movie came out, it's not like it was this big thing that was building that I was so excited to see, but I watched the first Transformers with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, and I was like, this is a good movie. They really did a good job. Second one, no. Tried too hard. Worried too much about trying to be funny, and it's just, I hated it.
Okay. I agree. We're definitely clunkers. All right, let me give you another bad one, then I'll give you one more good one myself here. We can talk about this all. There's so many good and bad sequels out there. So let's see. I'm looking at my list of bad ones here. How about Batman and Robin?
Ooh, yeah.
I know it's one of your favorites just because as a kid and you like some stuff in there, but
no, it's not. I actually hate Batman and Robin. I hate.
Okay, well there you
I
have it.
do hate Batman and Robin.
Chris
That's
Isaac
the George
as Robin. Yes, you're right.
I love Chris O'Donnell as Robin, but the George Clooney Batman makes me furious. It's just awful, so bad.
And George Clooney, he admits it. He knows it's a bad movie, which I'm glad that he did. Again, not the actor's fault.
No,
you're working with what you got.
I'm pretty sure they ran out of money halfway through. I read a story about like the budget and like how they basically had to shoot like the whole second half of the movie. They had no more money, so they had to like the costumes were cheap and shitty, and it just
All you have to know is you've seen the memes, you've heard this story before. Just all the bat suits, men and women, all for some reason had nipples on them. Why?
Gotta have nips.
We don't know. Not sure. Yeah. So it had a lot of promise with the casting. The casting's phenomenal.
Sure.
Cast is phenomenal.
That one had Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl and Chris O'Donnell. I do love Chris O'Donnell as Robin, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Yeah, you're right.
It should have been good, but it just was not. Horrible. Terrible.
Yep.
And it killed that franchise for many. Think about that.
Yeah.
That franchise disappeared after that movie all those years, all until the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, the Batman
which was
Begins.
so good, and it just like, oh my god, it was like a breath of fresh air watching that one here. So that's how corny those got back then. So
yeah, that one was egregiously bad. Yeah.
Any other ones you got, sir?
Last good one. Kind of talked about it in my first one, but I'm gonna go ahead for the good one. Spider-Man 2, the one with Dr. Octopus with Tobey Maguire. That one was even better. I loved the first one, but it was better than the first. Better than the first one, hands down. Definitely was. So not much more to say. Just great acting, great storyline. Loved it.
Very good. And I'll give you one here. This is a movie. This is a sequel I watch every single holiday season. One of my favorite holiday movies, period. And you kind of forget it's considered a sequel. How about Christmas Vacation?
Yep. Yeah, so, you're right.
It's the third of the Vacation movies. You had the original Vacation. Then you had European Vacation, which was The best part of that was the circle. Christmas Vacation, just same characters, just a whole different vibe. Love it. I don't get tired of it. I'll watch it every single holiday season without fail. If I get behind in the holiday movies, that always is my top 2-3 in my rotation. Just love it every single year.
Yeah,
I have a Clark Griswold hockey jersey, Blackhawks hockey jersey, the whole bit. I just love that movie so much. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say you're right. I never would have thought of that one, but you're right. Technically it's the third in the franchise. It's a sequel. Yep. Yeah.
I appreciate it more as being a father as well. I think that's a movie where, as a kid, you like it. It's funny, but I think once you become a father and you're now the kind of the Clark Griswold of your own little family, it just that movie just takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. All right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Nick, we could do a whole telethon here and just keep going and entertain people in the post-apocalyptic world for several hours, and I'm sure that
They've
dying
got the time
for that right now.
Yeah,
they do have the time. Like I got the gel fireplace going.
Mm-hmm.
I got Convincing Idiots. Somehow I still have internet service. I don't know how I have it, but somehow we have it going here. It's our Wi-Fi connection in the luxury bunker.
Yeah,
We decided we're going to watch all the Convincing Idiots videos on YouTube. Yep.
My house now on the surface level of Earth doesn't always have Wi-Fi, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so you're watching us. We hope you continue to enjoy, and we'd like to hear your. But it's in all seriousness. If you have sequels that we missed, if let us know. Email us, post on our Facebook page or social media. We'd like to hear your thoughts of what are some of the best and worst sequels out there, and
For sure.
We'll share your comments later. So, Nick, why don't you take us out? You pick any character, actor, maybe from one of your favorite or least favorite sequels, or actor or actress, whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I did bring up I did bring up Batman, so we're gonna do Christian Bale Batman on the way out. This is angry, screamy, whispery Batman. So, if you have not already done so, be sure to go to Convincing Idiots' link tree. Just Google Convincing Idiots, LINKTREE, and there you will find all of our social media accounts. Also, be sure to check in with Commissioner Gordon and then get him and go to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am an angry, screamy, whispery millennial Nick.
Post-apocalyptic Gen X Brian.
Post-apocalyptic.
Something like that.
Yes, that's right. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, have we convinced you to sign up and subscribe for our Mastodon account?
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.